So welcome back to the channel, and this is going to be the kind of finishing of putting this all together. So in one video I did a loft and I actually made a clamp, and let me see if I can pull that up real quick. And I'll go up here to the open button. And let's see, yes, that is okay with me. And giving it a second and it should load up here in a second. And yes, here's the clamp. Okay, so I did do some drafting to three different things, right? So we created a connecting rod, we created a handle, and we created this loft, and that's what you see here on the screen. Now I'm going to put all of these together, right? So I have this open. See if I kind of minimize this one, and I should have the other ones open as well. So here is the connecting rod. There's the clamp. And I also have the handle open as well. Let's go ahead and start by clicking the new icon. And this time we'll be using the assembly, and go ahead and hit OK. Alright, and here in a second it should load up. You should see your ribbon should be changed. And it's asking us to do some other things, right? So I can select components, and you can see I have these components open. So that makes it really useful if you do have them open. So if I select the the clamp right now, it should show it on my screen, right? I have some rotational options and things that I can do to it, but that's why usually when I create an object, I usually create it in the orientation that I want it to appear, especially a large object. I'll just do a left click here, and it will go ahead and place in my first component, right? So this one is locked in. Let's go ahead and bring in another component. So I'll go to Insert Component. Go ahead and bring in a connecting rod. Let's go ahead and place that here. And then I'll go ahead and bring in the handle. And let's see, now we have all of these components that I need to create. Now this is really simple. If you've been kind of doing a lot of the drafting and modeling stuff that we've been doing in a lot of these videos, well, this should be kind of no surprise to you. It should be nice and easy and simple. I'm going to start off with a mate. And then when the mate dialog box appears, we have to tell it basically what we want. And a lot of that stuff is going to look really familiar to you. You can see that we have coincidence, parallel, perpendicular, tangent, and we have some other lock features. You do have some other tabs here depending on what other type of things that you're trying to do. So if you have something that is maybe a hinge or something of that nature that you want to roll it around with, you do have some other options and some other tabs here that you can use to make things easier for you, right? But one thing that I like to do is I like to go ahead and create my components, and here's the most important part of why I try to keep things centered. And you're going to see the huge benefit of that, especially when we start creating these shapes. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the standard, and I want this part here. And let's go ahead and select this outside part. And I want it concentric to that guy, right? And right now it's giving me a tangent, but I don't want it to be tangent. And I accidentally meant to select the other icon here. Let's go ahead and hold down the shift button and deselect here. And then let's go ahead and select the outside here. And now it should give me an option to make it tangent. All right, I'll zoom out a little bit. And you can see that it's going up this direction, right? You do have some other options down here where I can kind of flip things and move them around in different orientations. And you can see this kind of flipped it, but not really the way I want it to. But you're going to have some. And I'm trying to remember the actual terms here. This one, you have one that's called the line, and it's showing me in the tooltips here, and an anti-aligned, right? In Inventor, those are called mates and flush, and it's going to be a lot simpler to use, especially in Inventor. But in this case, you know, this is kind of what we have, and you can just kind of cipher through whichever ones you want. Maybe if I give it an angle of 180. Let's see what we get to happen. Okay. And I'm just trying to get this to stand up for me. Let's see if I can get this off. And sometimes this does act a little bit weirder than what I want it to act. Okay, I digress on this. All right, I'll go ahead and leave it as, looks like I lost my concentric anyway. Let me go ahead and cancel this. And I'll do it a much simpler way. Okay. Let's go back to the mates. And this time I want this face to be with this face. So that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to do is just say, hey, make these two faces with each other. So grab that face and that face. And you're going to see that it should stand it up and put it that way. So I have the faces locked. I'll go ahead and accept this. All right. The next mate I'm going to do is going to go ahead and select this body and this body. And what Solidworks does is a good thing to kind of, it will predict what you want to happen. So therefore you're seeing that I get a concentric already happening just by picking those two faces. It says, hey, this is one of the most logical choices that you can have. I'll go, okay, that looks good. And then I'll go with this face here and then to the inside of that face, right? And it says, okay, I can handle that. And you can see that I do get another concentric. And here's that flip that I was looking for earlier. But here are all the things that we can do to this. These are just a kind of shortcut list of what you see here on the side. I'll go okay to this. And now I want to kind of make this thing symmetric to be right in the middle of this. So do we have an option for that? And I can kind of look around and I can kind of play with this symmetric before, but it does act a little weird from what I understand. But we do have these planes on the inside of this. So if I expand here and I go find the connecting rod, let's go ahead and expand that. And we're going to also expand the handle, and I do apologize. My computer is running super slow. Come on, expand it. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and expand the handle. And once again, it's taking its time to open. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to do a mate, and I'll start with the handle, and you can see these planes that I created. So I use these planes, or I created my part purposely so I can use these. So I'm going to use this right plane here. And then when I come up on here, I'm going to use the front plane on here. And it should mate those two together. And then let's go ahead and check that. All right. So this is just a simple, probably one of the easiest assemblies that you're going to do. But one of the more important things that you need to remember, that especially in this program, is that it will do some of the predicting for us. Let's go ahead and close this guy. It will do some of the predicting for us, and it will select or pre-select what we want to happen. Now you have some distances and other things of that nature that you can add to it. But by far, just for a simple assemblies, especially if you're kind of new to using SolidWorks, I'll try to keep the assemblies as simple as possible and using simple mates to put them together. Okay, so hopefully I kind of, I know I was kind of fumbling through this, but hopefully you kind of understand how to make a basic assembly here in SolidWorks. We will try in future videos or in other videos where we will come across and make some much more complex things. But for this video, I just wanted to kind of give you an introduction or how you can kind of mate things and put them together, right? So hopefully you enjoyed this and it was informative to you. Thank you for watching. As always, keep drafting, and I'll see you in the next video.